Are you ready for the weekend yet? We have events, news, and a guest for you to enjoy this Lake Life weekend. Welcome to another episode of Lake Life Weekend Podcast. I'm Dirk, I'm your host, and we are approaching weekend 31 of 2020. Today with us, we have Maggie Fresonke with her story about why and how she opened a co-working space in downtown Perham. I think we all know that we are living in a new normal, and that gave her the idea to add a destination if you have been working remotely at your home for your business or employer since March. Now we have a co-working space in Perham, which is beautiful and accessible 24/7, and also for travelers that come through. There's a one-day pass option, all those things. Hear the full story in our program today. And also don't miss to visit us online at lakelifeweekend.com for more ideas, stories, destinations to explore in Lakes Country. And if you have suggestions, please email us to hello@lakelifeweekend.com, and we look forward to hearing from you. And now enjoy our latest podcast, and I don't want to hold this back. Have a great weekend ahead. Welcome to our interview part. I'm here with Maggie Fresonke. Hi, Maggie.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you for coming on short notice and on a beautiful day.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And you are the owner, founder of Cove, Perham co-working space.
That is correct.
And it just opened weeks ago.
Weeks ago.
And I have already been peeking through the window, and a young lady opened me the door and gave me a tour a little bit. And I would like to learn more about that. Co-working in rural co-working spaces. We know them from WeWork, big in the news. There was somebody who took advantage of a lot of investors, and that's the metropolitan interpretation or opportunity. WeWork was worldwide. Maybe people heard about that, but we also have a space in Fargo, Prairie Den, I think it's called.
Yep.
And I don't know about any in Minneapolis, but I consider, or like we all know, that things are changing.
Yes.
And I have always said for a while that there will be a renaissance of rural America. And now with life that we have been living for 3-6 months now, it might be accelerating.
Yes.
And I think your timing is good. But before we talk about how you came up with doing this and in Perham and your intentions and your vision, I would like to hear who is Maggie, where's Maggie from, what are you doing besides this, or tell us who's Maggie.
About me. All right. So I am born and raised right here in Otter Tail County. I'm originally from New York Mills, and I still have my roots ingrained deep in that little community, just a couple miles down Highway 10. And like I said, born and raised, I did my winters in New York Mills, and then my family owns a cabin just off on County Highway 34 on Little McDonald. So I'd spent my summers in Perham, and I've gotten to know both communities, and so much so that I went to high school in New York Mills, and I swam for the Perham swim team. So I initiated the co-op to give you an idea of how much, I'm so deep ingrained in both communities. And I had a passion for healthcare, so I have worked for Perham Health here in town for 10 years now, almost 11. Wow, it's been a while. And
you still live in New York Mills?
Nope, I live in Perham. And I have my husband, Tim Fresonke. He amazing man. He just supports me in all my endeavors, crazy ideas that I chase. And then we also have I have a 1-year-old son, Oliver, and then we have a dog, Jasper, British Lab. So our little family lives right here in town, and we just enjoy living here so much. But we also live in town because we both work on the ambulance.
Oh.
So
EMT.
I'm an EMT. My husband works full time as a paramedic, and that's actually the reason we live in town, because
just the closeness to
the closest to the facility, and be able to respond, and then selfishly be able to sleep in my own bed at home at night. So that helps, and be able to serve the community in that way. But so that's kind of how I got started in healthcare and working on the truck, and I gradually moved into more healthcare administration after I got my master's of public health from NDSU. So go Bison, bleed green and gold. And then I have a huge passion for community health, like just that whole aspect. Like if we work together as a community, we can better ourselves and better the health of the community, and working together to make programs that help the needy and give equity to all those with regard to health. So that's my current job that I do with that right now with Perham Health is population health.
Population health.
Population health coordinator, yes. And
what does
so
that mean? Public or
population?
Population.
I
never heard that.
Yeah.
What
What is in a nutshell what that means is I take and look at the data and then build programming based off that data. So let's say, for example, we have a lot of people with prediabetes. So I work on helping make sure that people have access to diabetes prevention programs. What does our healthy food look like? Where can we improve our exercise opportunities in the area? Just looking at all of those in a nutshell to make sure that everybody can live their best life here. And
so educational, a lot of education,
outreach. Yep. And just really looking at how can the healthcare system play a role in affecting policy systems and environments to support people living their best life.
Living before. I understand. And who is funding this part?
So that's the interesting piece of it. Being in rural America, there's really not a funding source yet. So the other portion of my job is grants. I write grants, and we find grant funding to help us support these projects and work on these things to help improve our population, to hopefully give us that solid foundation so that it can continue on itself. In a perfect world, these would all be funded because, health starts at home, and we can only do so much when they come into the doctor's office. We've all sat there as we've been told, yeah, you should eat your apple a day, or, do that one thing or another. But the reality of it is when we get home, can we afford that apple? Do we know
Mine
what?
Is sitting sliced over there for once, but
you're doing good. You got a good start.
I'm looking at it.
But examples like that. So really, just trying to find the funding sources to help those things. But in rural America, hospitals can't support that type of work, so we have to find.
Interesting that the hospital actually is taking that role on. My understanding, maybe it would even be, in my system would be the government, not a public, not a private organization. So it should be part of the city or actually the county's health department's role, and through the schools. I'm surprised that actually like Perham Health, which is in a partnership with Sanford, I think, but it's not a public place, it's a private institution.
It is a public institution. It is a governmental entity.
Oh, it is?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So it's a
it's just partnering with Sanford to provide the infrastructure or like the services.
Yeah. So how that works is we have a governmental entity, and it's a hospital district is what that governmental entity is called. So there's elected board members to the hospital district. I think, let me see if I get this right. It's 10 or 13 townships and 3 municipalities that sit on our board. And then that board has the ownership of the entire hospital, clinic, staff, all of that.
Okay. Where
Sanford comes into play is that board hires Sanford to manage the organization. So our leadership is Sanford, our doctors are Sanford, the clinic staff is Sanford. We get to utilize some of their things like their electronic health records and some of their specialties. So it's really quite a beautiful relationship in that we get the autonomy to be a smaller organization, but the benefits to being a part of a bigger organization.
I see. Yeah.
So
Okay, it makes sense now.
we have it really lucky here in Perham, like how the organization is set up. It's great.
So when you talk population health, how big is the population? How many people are you serving? Or
so I like to look at it in the footprint of the hospital district. So those 10 to 13 townships and 3 municipalities. So that extends about 25, 30 miles in any direction from Perham Health.
And how many? Is it 18,000 people?
It depends on the time of the year.
Okay, sure. Permanent residents.
Yeah, give or take.
18?
Yeah, 18,
Okay.
20,
Okay.
somewhere in there.
Okay. And now with your passion, or like, your passion to a community person you are, and you're even donating your personal time with the EMT service, I understand, because isn't it kind of like being a volunteering firefighter?
Kind of. It is a job per se. So
Oh, it is a job.
you do get paid, but I mean, it's not anything.
No, but it's a day. It's not year round, but you're available nighttime. So how
Yep.
do you bring that in with your other obligation? Is that on top of it?
So I take call at night.
Okay.
Is how I do that. So at night I'm on call, and if the pager goes off, I go. And then I do that from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and then I get up and go to work the next day. Well,
As easy as that.
as easy as
Yeah,
that.
sure, I understand. So you're devoting yourself to public service, and now I couldn't see how that also led to founding a co-working space. But like, how did that exactly happen? Like,
Okay,
how did that happen?
So I had seen an event on Facebook for Well Collective, which is a women entrepreneur and leadership group, that said, hey, we're having a join night or a welcoming night to learn about Well Collective and learn about, because this is just a brand new group that was starting. So I was like, in my role with population health and stuff like that, I always like to have a know of what's going on, and I also like to have an audience I can go to with some of the information I bring. So say, for example, like I'm hosting a mental health, Perm Health is hosting a mental health training event, so I could take that information and go to this Well Collective group and say, hey, you guys should take this to improve the mental health of our communities, just awareness, so on and so forth. So I joined for that reason, just so I could have somewhere to funnel my information to and have another group of people to say, hey, did you know about this? Did we know about this? We can work on this and make this better. That is what got me to that event that night. I went not knowing that I'd walk out with an entrepreneurial idea. So we were sitting around a table.
When was that?
This was in January.
Oh, just that recent?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, no big deal. So I was sitting around a table with a bunch of wonderful ladies that do freelance in any way, shape, or form. Some run nonprofits. And we were just having a discussion about co-working, and I had no idea what it was, never heard of it before. And they're like, Perm really needs a co-working space. And then they went on to explain, like these are spaces that you can just come and work for the people that work at home, the freelance, the travelers. Anybody can just pop in, do their work, much like a college union, and leave. There's no commitment. There's no rent. Nobody's responsible for the internet bill. Just pay for
not true. But
well, I'm responsible for the internet bill, but they don't have to worry.
Covered by a membership fee.
Yep,
So
covered by a membership fee.
So the benefit would be you don't have all those bills each, so you kind of share them.
Correct.
It's a social concept.
Yes, it is a very social concept.
It is. It is a community concept.
Yes, and so I went home that night really on fire for this idea, because it just was like, yes, our community needs something like this, where the people that are working at home, the freelancers, the travelers can go and just work and just have that community.
Have it easy, like you have day pass. Like, tell us about the structure. So you have workstations, you can go in at all times, but you need to have access, like being a member. How is something like that organized?
So it is organized by a software program that I use, and there's a day pass, which I call a drop-in. There's a part-time membership, which is $100 a month for 8 times a month. So it works out to be about 2 days a week. And then Then there is the full-time membership, 24/7, 365, come whenever you want to use it.
Platinum pass.
Platinum pass, yes. So then you just pay for whatever you want, and then you get access to the door through the app. And
oh wow.
Yes.
So, no, fascinating. Sorry.
And then that same membership information gives you access to the internet.
So you have an app that opens the door.
Correct.
Really?
Yep. So you
smart home technology, kind of.
What was that?
Like a smart home technology.
Yes,
in a way?
kind of. Yeah, I'd say that's what it's like. It's you just an app you log into like any other app, like your Target app.
Did you design that app?
No,
or is that
no.
This
Is Coworking is, like you'd mentioned, is an international thing.
Movement.
It is a movement, and they're popping up all over the place, and a lot of this stuff was already established, and it just blew my mind that this hadn't made its way to rural America yet.
Rural Minnesota.
Rural Minnesota.
Yeah, or like really, it is actually there's not that many, and
no.
Yeah, but like, so you saw that, because I see that clearly. I mean, especially with us in Lakes Country, and I know many people working from home, and now more than ever, obviously, because businesses or organizations were forced to have people work at home, so the infrastructure, or the ability has been given a green light, and also the communication. So now more people than ever before have experienced and utilized.
And that's just it. So I originally had planned, so I left that Well Collective event on fire. Let's do this. Let's go. Was shopping for buildings. I had a go date for April. Then COVID happened.
Yeah, of course.
And that everything came to a screaming halt. And I did a lot of personal reflection and figuring out, is this still something I want to do? And I decided to still pursue it because of that exact reason you just mentioned. For years now, we've been, organizations and people working at distance has kind of been like, oh, we don't know, is it going to work? They're not going to be productive. But this has just been the COVID has been really one big, huge social experiment that, everybody basically can work digitally or remotely.
We can trust our employees.
We can trust our employees. They can get their work done, in some cases, sometimes even more productive. And now the co-working trend, what they're going to see is the co-working spaces in metropolitan areas are going to start seeing decrease, and they're going to start seeing increases of co-working spaces pop up rurally, because this is where people want to live, work, and play.
I agree. I see that. I already just spoke to someone on the phone. My insurance agent, I guess. I had a question about something, and she asked how I was doing. I was like, I'm doing actually really great. And she's like, yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. But she had a story about somebody in Brainerd, friends of hers selling their first home they just built, and they have a ton of showings. And actually, I think they had like a number of offers on their Brainerd home, but all from Minneapolis people. So it seems to be true that people are already leaving metropolitan and escaping to rural Minnesota.
Yes.
Rural America, probably.
Yes.
Oh, I just saw somebody telling me 19 bids on a piece of land in Montana from California and New York people. So it's, as we speak, it seems to blow up.
Yes.
The interest is increasing.
Yes.
Okay, good for you.
No,
right?
So with that, not everybody can work at home. I mean, I sit at home sometimes and I'm working, but I look at, okay, well, that basket of laundry needs to be folded. The dishes need to be done. Yeah. I got 8 other different things I can be doing. And then also my 1-year-old is climbing on me, trying to get me to pay attention to him. So people need an escape. They still need to go to that so-called office and have a relationship with the people sitting next to them and, talk about the latest drama around the water cooler. Like, people still need that social connection, and that's where co-working comes into play. They may not need to work there every day. Maybe they just need to pop in once a week to really put their nose to the grind, get their social fix and focus and get everything done that they need to so they can go home and just relax and let go and work on the things that they need to work at home.
Yeah, besides that, I mean, now we have probably, if you work for an insurance or a bank and then sensitive data, now we need probably firewalls and whatnot, but that's some technical things. There is not only people that are allowed to work remotely, but I think there's so many freelancers slash contractors, whether they're designers, writers, right? Or
Yep.
So I guess those also, you're serving those too.
Yes, I'm serving anybody that can work digitally without all that super security can use my space. I've had writers, I've had photographers, I've had marketers, I've had headhunters, I've had insurance people. I mean, it's just, you name it, I've already had it walk in my door in my few short weeks that I've been open.
So wait a second, now this is so fascinating. So tell us a little bit more. Your space is right downtown Perham,
Yes.
and you have, what did I count, 10 desks, 8?
Yeah, total of 12 seats if we include what's in the conference room. And that was not originally the plan. The plan was to have upwards of 20, but with COVID, you kind of got to have everybody spaced out.
Sure.
And this was the most
And they
economical.
don't all come at the same time. So does that mean that you only sell 12 memberships, or like slash? Is it is there a key like, hey, we can sell 25 because there's usually only 50%?
Right now,
present?
it's just open because I've not had people have just been coming in different times, and that's the other beauty of being a 24/7, 365 space is. Some people have their best productivity at
10 p.m.
At 10 p.m. or
4 a.m.
4 a.m. So they can just come in and use the space. And I haven't seen a need yet to cap the membership based on the number of chairs I have, just because people have there's fluid. It's just.
How do people find you? Just
The
Facebook?
Facebook right now. I've been trying to dabble in the marketing realm, which I'm learning every day on that. But right now it's been Facebook, and word of mouth have been my biggest promoters of it. And living in small town Perham, word of mouth gets you a long ways. So presenting at local presentation opportunities such as the chamber events and local organizations and this podcast and just getting the word out and educating people what co-working is and how it can serve them. And I'm not just speaking to the people that are traveling or remote working or working from home. I'm also speaking to the people that have businesses in town, because I mean, even with my office at Perm Health, there's sometimes I just need to get away from the distraction of the office and focus. And I found myself when I'm writing grants that, okay, I'm just going to step away, get my work done, and then come back. And I have been way more productive doing that. So that's how also the people that already have offices in the industry in this town can utilize that space. They have travelers coming in every day. They say, hey, there's this co-working space down the street. Go and check it out. Or if they have to have a meeting off-site, they can use my conference room. You know, just don't think that only because you have an office space means that you can't utilize the benefits that come with a co-working space. Maybe your marketing team that you have in-house just needs to break away and get some creative inspiration. Come, pay the $20, come in the door, work with some of the people that are already working in the space, bounce some ideas off each other. Maybe you can take a whole new spin on your marketing plan.
Yeah, I agree. I work the same way. I need to have not only the change of scenery in a way, but then also not the distraction. I see the benefit, and I hope that many organizations will take advantage of that.
For sure.
So it's fairly affordable.
Yeah, that was my whole goal in this, is to make it affordable so that even if you're just like a stay-at-home parent that needs to break away at night after the kids go to bed to work, they can. It's not this overarching thing that they can't even get their hands around because it's so expensive.
And there's some rules. I mean, obviously there's quiet, but there's also technology involved. You have a printer. Tell us a little bit more about the features or the protocols.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So protocols, I mean, as if you're working at work, or, you know,
respectful to another.
You're respectful to the other, but hey, don't be afraid to be like, hey, do you mind taking a look at this and just give me your opinion on it? Like,
collegial.
Yes. Yep. But I mean, also in that same sense, if somebody's got their head down and they've got their headphones in and they're working, maybe they're not really going to be engaging.
Don't interrupt.
Don't interrupt. I mean,
social
just
rules.
yes,
Follow social
social rules.
rules.
So that's how I'd say. The technology side of things, I mentioned the door. And then how do you get on the internet? Printer, full color and black and white printer with scanner and everything. Unlimited.
How do you how easy do you set up like a scanner email thing? Is it part of the app?
Nope. So that's separate. That I have all the directions sitting right next to the printer. For the printing portion, you just it has its own Wi-Fi, so you just connect to that and then download it as you would any other printer. Add a printer to your computer, and then you connect to the printer's Wi-Fi and you click print, and it'll print it. I mean, you'll
and
have
how
to
scans a PDF to you?
And then it scans a PDF through. There is a little program you have to download through the printer website, but just
pretty straightforward.
Yep, just download that and then connect to the printer's Wi-Fi again and click scan, and it'll scan it for you.
It's a whole plug and play nowadays.
Yes, yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
And my goal was to make it easy, because if it's not easy, even I won't do it.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't get phone calls at 1 a.m. It's like, how does the printer work?
Yes, yep. And and I offered unlimited because, frankly, right now printing, who prints? Everything's digital. Okay, well, you print.
I need to write on it.
But I mean, I know people aren't going to be coming in there and printing reams and reams of paper because you just don't need to anymore.
No.
And so there's full free printing and scanning, and then there's also I have a kitchenette. So I mean, bring your lunch. There's a microwave. There's just a Keurig for coffee, and then a water cooler for just
clean
really
up
basic.
behind you. So just normal rules.
Yep, and then I have a whole station for COVID with masks available and disinfectant and hand sanitizers. So I mean, people that utilize the space understand that it's their space too. So they take ownership in it. So then, hey, I don't want my space to be left dirty for the next person. So they'll grab the cloth and the disinfectant and just wipe it down when they're done with it. And then I go in there a couple times a week and disinfect everything and make sure it's safe. But I mean, that's the beauty of it too, is that community cares about the space. They want the space, and they want to they want to take care of the space. So everybody just has that piece of ownership into it.
Yeah, no, makes sense actually, and I'm glad to hear that they can behave. So in order to connect for the very first time or set up your punch card, or that one day, let's say I'm traveling through from New York to Seattle, and then I saw that, and all of a sudden it's 9 p.m. And I want to just finish my book chapter that I just started.
Yeah.
So can I get access on the fly?
Yes.
Really?
There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do it from remotely, where you just go to the Cove, Coworking.com and register, and then pay right there. Or if you're literally on the fly and you're parked in front of the building, I have directions on the window. That's you just connect to the Cove Wi-Fi or Cove membership Wi-Fi, and a splash page will come up, and you can pay right there, download the app, and get in.
Wow. That is beautiful. I have a legal background.
Yes.
Now I see, like, okay, wait a second. What if I want to... I don't want to point out...
No.
Somebody can just take your printer.
They could.
Okay, but they pay, so you actually have the credit card information, so you have some sort of identification, so I cannot...
And I do have cameras. I do have cameras in there recording, so, I mean, I totally thought that through.
About that.
And the reality is that they're going to get it if they want it, so I'm not going to make it so they have to destruct the place to get it.
Yeah, unfortunately, but that's
So I have my preventative measures in place, or as best as I can, but in order to make it the best experience possible and meet everybody's needs, I think we've met security. We've got a nice balance between security and accessibility.
Yeah. No, and I just the more we talk about it, but you need a credit card, and that's kind of your ID. That's your fingerprint.
Yes.
So then we just charge the printer to that credit card.
Yep. That's right.
No, okay, but easy. Everything looked new,
Yes.
so
And the plants are live.
yeah, I saw the plants. Yeah, fresh air. Oh, good. And do you want to disclose? Do you have like 20 members, 30, 40? What is the?
Let's see. Okay, let me count.
Quite a few.
I think I have about 5 reoccurring members, and then I've had probably 20 drop-ins.
Really?
Yeah. Just
And when did you open?
the last Friday of June.
Oh, just 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, fascinating.
So that tells me the community per se is hungry for something like this.
Yeah.
And they've all worked at our local coffee shop. They've all worked at our library, but it just doesn't conducive to the actual working environment they need to be productive.
Yeah, I can see that, and it's different. And yeah, library and coffee shop is.
And with the county wanting their housing initiatives that they have, and they're trying to get more people into the area, this is perfect to complement those initiatives.
Yeah. No, I was happy when I found out. I was very impressed when I saw, and I'm very happy that you told us your story and that they can contact you like you just described, but you're also accessible to meet, I guess.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
time allows.
Yeah, all my contact information is on my website and on our social media, and just reach out if you got questions. Like I said, this is a new concept and we're all learning it together. So reach out if you got questions. I'm happy to give tours and explain it, because I mean the concept of opening the door with an app has got some people a little confused, but we'll get through it. And
I think it's cool.
It's really cool. So
tell us, you said you are born and raised in New York Mills. You spent your summers and your childhood in Perham. Now you live in Perham. What defines lake life to you?
Oh, wow.
What does that mean? Lakes country.
Waking up in the morning and seeing the sheet of glass of lake just is something that just gives me goosebumps. I just love that. And then being able to just hang out with family in the lake on a hot day and a cold beer and just shooting the breeze, enjoying each other's company. That's lake life. We call it lake time. There's no time. You just do what you want to do when you want to do it while enjoying the beaches of the lake.
Yep, I like to hear that, and I think there's many more people that will find out about that beautiful time.
Yes.
And then we'll utilize environments that you created.
For sure.
Super. Well, thank you very much for coming. And
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Have a good weekend ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, this was already our newest episode of the Lake Life Weekend podcast. We sure hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next week with another great guest and updates. Always check out our website, lakelifeweekend.com. And if you have some comments, please feel free to email us at hello@lakelifeweekend.com. And you have a wonderful weekend ahead.